Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. The fog of war may hide the wreckage, but the truth can never be hidden forever. Tonight we expose the false lies, the jingoism and the horrific agenda of a country that is hellbound of creating not only instability in South Asia, but even going beyond. 5 jets down. Truth, of course, now in front of the world. The world deserves to know, and today they know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Crisis Room. Joining you, I'm your host, Ahmed Nawaz. And of course, joining me is my co-host, Ms. Ghanwa Mohyuddin. Assalamu alaikum, Ghanwa.
Walaikum assalam. Good to be here.
Thank you very much. Of course, me and Ghanwa tonight would be giving you all the information that has been put in front of the world, courtesy of a presser today, which of course included gentlemen from the 3 services that we talk about, the Air Force, the Navy and the Army, of course, including DG ISPR Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary as well, who of course exposed the truth where India once again denies or fails to give any evidence of its jets not being shot down. An audio was released today as well. A lot of truth was put in front of the world to know. This in front of the world now, if you go down in history, has got to be the biggest aerial battle that the new generation will now come to know as well. The whole world already has eyes on it. Various media outlets throughout the world have already done factual reporting of admitting that 5 Indian jets were shot down, including 3 Rafales, 1 MiG-29 and 1 Su-30 as well. We discuss all that has been put in front of the world, and we have our panelists who join us in studios. First of all, we're very honored to be joined by our special correspondent here at PTV World, somebody who has been at the forefront of developing stories in the past couple of days as well. Mr. Raza Khan joins us. Assalamu alaikum, Raza.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for.
And also joining us is our fellow colleague, news presenter, somebody who has been reporting and conducting transmissions rigorously when you talk about the past couple of days, and including this saga of shooting down 5 Indian planes. We're very honored to be joined by Mr. Rafi Suhail as well. Assalamu alaikum, Rafi.
Wa alaikum assalam, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us as well. Now, Ghanwa, I'm sure, you know, as my co-host, you're also very intrigued in the developments that have happened in the past 48 hours. And I think you'll agree that today was an eye-opener for the entire world, because the truth now with facts has been put in front of the world.
Yes, absolutely. As we have yet again downed 77 drones within the last 24 hours. The number was 25 last night, and today it's 77. India's unprovoked aggression continues, but the Pak Army's precision, power and dominance is on full display as we make it known to the world. We have displayed the evidences with full transparency to national and international media. We are taking them along with us. DG ISPR continues to give us briefings, and that shows a difference in the media in Pakistan and the Indian side, which believes in false narratives and misinformation.
Absolutely. Let's of course now involve our special correspondent over here as well. Raza, you've been at the forefront of the past couple of days, and I think a lot has been put in front of the world. But you know, they've denied it not once but 5 times, I would say. 5 denials, but 1 harsh reality, that those 5 planes have been shot down. First of all, what do you make of the information that has been put in front of the world, including the audio of the squadron that was taking part from the Indian side in this fight as well?
Ahmed, the times have changed. There was a time that a centralized body in a state like India could have censored, you know, the things. But technology, smartphones, as you know, have come in, and every citizen technically can be a reporter now. Citizen journalism is the buzzword, and not from today, but for the last 15-20 years, ever since smartphones and they have cameras. So even if Indian government wanted, they couldn't hide it. The neutral international media outlets like BBC, Reuters, AFP, AP, they have all got people on ground and who have contacts within India. So these places where these 3 Rafales, 1 Su-30, 1 MiG-29, these 5 planes went down. They immediately, Indian government had started recovery operations. So those could not be hidden because people of the area immediately found out. And of course, then they had already heard aeroplanes in the sky, and they had heard explosions. So it doesn't take Einstein to realize that 5 planes, 5 different places, dogfight, a historic dogfight, as pointed out by AVM Aurangzeb in the briefing, because as you rightly pointed out, Western media, and more than the Western media, Western security experts, they are literally in awe of what Pakistan has achieved. And because you and I have grown up admiring and listening to praise of the Western technology, but here was Chinese technology and Pakistan's own technology mixing up. I mean, JF-17s were also part of the package. So if JF-17 Thunders were there, J-10Cs were there, so that means that China's PL-15 became the real hero of this battle in that sense.
Raza, staying on the same subject matter, I would like to ask you, do you think the Indian Air Force is lacking in skills to operate? Rafale is quite a sophisticated machinery. Do you think in the hands of monkeys, this airplane did nothing for them?
Ganva, more than the skill on the part of Indians, there is partially truth to what you pointed out, but more than that, one must give credit to PF, Pakistan Air Force leadership. Air Chief Marshal Zahir Ahmed Baba Sidhu was in the command and control center of Air Force at Air Headquarters, and he led from the front. He was giving instructions, and the AVACs were involved, advanced early warning and control aircrafts, and we have SABs and others, and Chinese made ones as well. And then of course there were 42, as AVM Aurangzeb pointed out, 42 fighter planes from our side, around 70 from India. So it was a historic dogfight in a lot of ways, where beyond visual range missiles like Meteor from the Rafales, and Mica from their side, and PL-15 from our side. And PL-15 apparently has made the difference, as well as the technical prowess. It's not just the PL-15 itself, it was the pilots behind these aircrafts who were able to maneuver the aircrafts and bring them into position where they were able to lock their missiles onto the Indian aircrafts and then shoot them. And the remarkable thing, Ghanwa, is that Indians' planes were forced to remain in their airspace. Pakistan's airplanes remained in our airspace, and they were shooting beyond visual range missiles. And PL-15 has a range of, especially its E version has, the export version has a range of around 200 kilometers.
Very rightly pointed out, Raza. Rafi, in your opinion, with the developments of the last 48 hours, what does it show, not just the nation, but the world, about the readiness and preparedness of the Pakistan Air Force, the Pakistan Army, our entire defense system? Like, what do you think we are portraying to the world right now? Undeniably so.
Ghanwa, as now the world knows that this was initiated by India, and we must bring to light that this was a defense on Pakistan's side. So India coming into Pakistan, attacking Pakistan, having all the planning that they had, obviously they had planned this for a very long time, because Pakistan is a nuclear nation. It's not an easy thing that India can come up here, come into Pakistan, and they can target our civilians. So they had this planned. So Pakistan downing their jets and targeting their military installations, this is a huge flag, a huge feather in Pakistan's cap, because they had it planned. Pakistan was on the defensive, and Pakistan achieving this feat of downing 5 of their jets and destroying multiple of their brigade headquarters, this is outstanding.
Absolutely. Rafi, if we monitor the past 6 hours, I think it's been credible evidence that has been provided by Pakistan. Now remember, this is an aircraft which cost $277 million each. And
Right.
Last time it was very bluntly put out by the RSS Hindutva Modi regime that Rafale would have been the difference between Pakistan and India the last time such a provocation took place and an Indian plane was shot down and a pilot captured. Now, of course, Pakistan very rightly put it out in today's presser as well that deliberately shooting down over Rafale further highlights their false claim of it being the difference. So I think it's very plain simple and a global embarrassment to the manufacturers as well. I've been monitoring digital media in the past 6 hours, especially the platform of X. And one thing is very evident that after this presser, certain voices are now coming from inside India as well. Do you agree that now there will be questions raised about the proficiency, about the professionalism that lacks between the Indian forces and the divide between the military and political leadership?
Well, exactly. And you know, we must mention that Pakistan and Pakistani military and Pakistani Air Force is battle hardened. It's been through situations, it's tackled situations, handled situations very well throughout the past few decades. And we must bring this to light that their own analysts, their own journalists are, talking about how their media has reported, how irresponsibly they have reported. And you just mentioning this, I want to read out a couple of, their tweets. This is Basant Maheshwari, and he is an investor, a big-time investor in India. And he has said in his tweet that I have never deleted tweets, but today I am deleting all tweets that I made without verifying the claims of our Indian media channels. I feel sad, not because of tweeting, but more so because I wrongly believed what I saw on the Indian media.
Absolutely. Mockery, complete mockery. I must say, I think even, you need to have probably, an enemy with dignity. That's how fights are fought, and that's how wars have been fought in the past. But Raza Khan, with your experience of being our special correspondent, you've obviously covered current situations of escalation throughout the world. Never has the world seen mockery as we've seen. A night before claiming to capture 3 Pakistani cities and then going back on their rhetoric. The false claim of shooting down an F-16 and capturing a pilot, then going back. And the Indian External Affairs Secretary was asked in a press conference that if this is Pakistani propaganda of shooting down 5 airplanes, why just you don't show us the fresh image of such aircraft, and which he denied. So, in English we say silence is not evidence, it's evasion. So do you also believe that this has got to be the biggest mockery of an Indian state that we're seeing in the 21st or 22nd century going forward?
You've raised a few points, Ahmed, and I would like to harp on those. Firstly, you rightly pointed out that it's Indian media. Literally, I mean, you and I are students of mass communication as well. So, looking at it, what can we teach the juniors? I mean, the Indian journalists on Indian media professionals, so-called media professionals, are acting like jokers and literally monkeys. I mean, they're shouting at the top of their voice, each one of them. And last night they had aired the news that Karachi had been attacked, which turned out to be a complete and utter lie. And they, as you pointed out, downing of F-16. Barkha Dutt, the so-called eminent journalist of India, went with the flow and tweeted that we have shot an F-16 and the pilot is in the custody of India. It was a fake news. India couldn't produce anything. Similarly, 2 JF-17s, downing, it was complete lie. Indian media and Indian leadership have made a fool of themselves, and Pakistan's Air Force, Pakistan's armed forces, not just PF, Pakistan Army is giving them a hard nose, rather a bloody nose, all across the LOC. There are at least a couple of brigade headquarters, at least 3 battalion headquarters that have been hit, and numerous posts across the line of control, and they have been destroyed. And on some places, white flag was raised by the Indian soldiers.
This concept, Raza, allow me to interrupt and ask you this, because this is a huge signal with your vast experience of covering, military and military domains around the world. What does this signify for a military? And especially, we see this white flag in front of us. The bigger question the world is asking right now, what does this do to the morale of an armed forces of any nation when we see white flags like these?
You're absolutely right. White flag is the sign of surrender. Throughout the world, it is taken as a sign of peace when somebody wants to surrender or wants to initiate negotiations. That's why they use flags, and even in wartime as well, it is a symbol of that the other side doesn't want to fight. So stop firing and let's talk. And so,
the morale of their armed forces.
Such visuals are very demoralizing. You're absolutely pointed out. And now you've raised a very important point that Indian Air Force and India's Ministry of External Affairs, as you know, these days is having briefing with 2 female officers, one from Air Force and one perhaps from the Army side. he said that when the time and place will come, we'll decide when to discuss the downing of planes. This is not the moment as of now, because they know international media they have they have a nose for finding snippets of information from the citizen journalists and the different places, different sources, and they have pointed out that they can't hide the fact that 5 planes went down. And India in 77, as Ganva pointed out, 77 drones in 24 to 36 hours. Most of them were Israeli-made Heron and Harap drones, Harpy drones, and Pakistan. And a lot of people through this transmission, I would like to say something to the viewers of PTV World and to the people of Pakistan at large, that some of them was showing impatience that how come these drones reached Rawalpindi and Lahore and stuff, and I mean inland, several hundred kilometers inland from India. I would just give the example of Ukraine and Russia warfare. Look, Russia is a huge military power. It has always been. Its air defense system is second to none, one of the best in the world. But even then, Ukrainian drones managed to reach Moscow. It has happened several times. It has hit the apartment blocks over there. So the point is, these drones, they have a smaller radar cross section, and they are slow moving. And they sometimes use an altitude which is not very high, so they get and then taking them out through an expensive SAM, surface to air missile, sometimes is simply unwise. That you're wasting an expensive SAM which is meant for the enemy's aircrafts or enemy's missiles, and you are wasting that on a drone which is cheap for that matter. So that's why Pakistan has played it safe. Pakistan has allowed it to come within range, and then either through technical means, electronic countermeasures, or through kinetic means. So that's why India used, but India's dastardly aggression of early hours of 7th May, in which it hit 6 places in Pakistan, and now as of now, I would like to inform the viewers that the latest figures are that 33 martyrs and 70 plus injured in Pakistan. So Pakistan has retaliated.
And there's a civilian population.
The civilian population, yes, and no armed forces personnel, as DG ISPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry pointed out, not a single armed forces personnel has been martyred, or there have been few injured, but no martyred. No one is martyred from the armed forces as yet. Pakistan Army is awake, Pakistan Air Force is awake, and let's not forget, Pakistan Navy is awake. Pakistan Navy is fully deployed with all its assets, the submarines, the surface ships, the frigates, the corvettes, the missile boats, the minesweepers, and the coastal batteries, the aircrafts like P-3 Orion, the submarine killers. So Pakistan will not surrender to India. Pakistani armed forces will fight. And as DG ISPR pointed out that yes, there may be a lot of people feeling a bit impatient that why we haven't retaliated in a massive way to India, but the time, place and volume of retaliation shall be of our choice, and it will be done. And it will not be done when India media wants it. It will be done when our leadership, especially our military leadership, thinks it's appropriate for Pakistani army.
Speaking of the media, and as all of us sitting here today are media persons, I wanted to point out that instead of reflection and instead of caution, the filmmakers in Bollywood are rushing to register the title Operation Sandoor for another propaganda blockbuster to laugh at death once again. We saw the Indian media, they were celebrating the death of a 3-year-old child, of a 4-year-old girl, and as a country who has suffered through many terror attacks, no one in our country, there was not a single person who did not condemn the Pahalgam attack. What kind of media journalism is this? Like, what kind of jingoism is being observed in the Indian media, like the irresponsibility of journalism that we talked about earlier? As an anchor, Rafi, I would like you to comment on that.
Well, Ghanva, it's just preposterous, and the Indian media, I think, has gone bonkers, because the irresponsibility of, because this is a war state, India and Pakistan, if we're at war, it's the responsibility of both the sides to bring accurate facts to the people so that the people can judge what is going on the ground and how their forces are dealing with the threats that can be coming from either side. But the Indian media, I don't know what they're doing and how they are,
Their public cannot trust their media, as you just pointed out.
Ghanwa, apparently we just lost the Karachi port yesterday, and we've
I
also
Died twice.
yeah. And I cannot even come to terms with the Indian media and how they're conducting their part. And
They're
also
giving threats, sleep with your one eye open. We sleep soundly. We want everyone to know that.
But you know,
sleep
Rafi,
very soundly.
I want to ask you this. I am confused at the moment. I fail to understand what is more embarrassing, the mockery that their media is making, or the fact that their public actually believes all of this, falsehood that has been presented. I don't know what's more embarrassing as
They
a
have
nation.
this obsession with phantom strikes. Raza, don't you agree with that? Like these imaginary fictions of their imagination. Apparently, they have captured pilots. Where is the pilot when Abhinandan, that episode happened? We had a pilot in our custody. We had the wreckage. We had the footage. We had a confession.
We had the fantastic
We
tea.
had the
We had the
fantastic
fantastic
tea. Yes, exactly. And where is all of the, there's not a shred of evidence from the day of Pahalgam till tonight. We have seen not a shred of evidence.
Well, Ghanwa, I think this is a more of a cult. The Modi regime, the people over there as well, the Indians, the ones that are believing all of this, they are following this very blindly. They're not putting in even a speck of intelligence of their own, a speck of their common sense, and they would actually want to find out the truth. We see many of their analysts and their journalists and even their Bollywood stars coming up, and they are actually coming up and saying that Indian media is not trustworthy anymore, and if Indian media tells us that it's raining outside, there was this person, Nitish Rajput, he's a YouTuber, and me being a student of international relations myself, he makes educational videos. He posts them, and I have also referred to a few of his videos because they are unbiased and they tell actual facts. He said that if the Indian media tells me that it's raining outside, I'm going to go look for my sunglasses. This is the level of trust that the sane people in India now have in the Indian media. It's all coming to light that what there is. Also, I want to circle back to the white flag that you mentioned earlier. That shows the level of gap that their leadership has with the people on the ground, with the boots on the ground that are actually fighting this battle, fighting this war for that matter. So their army chief is making statements like "Picture abhi baki hai." And the people, their soldiers who are actually fighting this war, they are raising white flags. So this shows the gap that their military has, the gap that their leadership has with the people, with the soldiers. So
their
it's just absurd.
leadership and their military, their army there's a crack in between, where one is drumming war drums and the other one is waving white flags. Right.
Rafi, as Rafi pointed out, let me just take from there, Ghanwa. The thing is that, as I answered to Ahmed earlier, that Indian media personnel are literally making a fool out of themselves. I mean, any self-respecting individual, not that there are enemies, and I'm making this point, you can go to any third country and ask, is this journalism? I mean, shouting and shouting at the top of their voices that this has happened in Karachi and that has happened, and they're literally acting like cartoons and losers and jokers. And the thing is that I know there's a lot of fog of war. There's a thing called fog of war. Ahmed, we've heard this term.
Absolutely.
That there is because the reality usually takes sometimes months, sometimes years to come out about wars, because both the sides, usually hide the information, because of the wartime constraints. But going to the level of Indian media, I mean, it's absolutely disgraceful the way they are behaving.
The length that they have gone through, thousands of X accounts, thousands of Instagram accounts, not just celebrities, like you pointed out, citizen journalists, people who are just beginning to ask the right questions, people who are just questioning the logic behind their illogic and imagination. that they're putting out as facts.
Let me just give you one example, Ranva, you've rightly pointed out. Praveen Sone.
Yes.
He is, he raised a few points to Karan Thapar and so regarding the downing of planes, and immediately he was targeted by the right-wing elements in India, and the Wire itself, the media outlet Wire, got targeted. And so there is this frenzy, Ahmed, because the right-wing Hindu government led by Narendra Modi, who grew up as a worker of RSS, the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, the RSS, a fascist organization, I would say a terrorist organization, founded in 1920s, whose primary aim is to hit and kill Muslims. And this is what it has done. India has become a living hell for minorities, be that Muslims, be that Sikhs, be that Christians.
Under the butcher of Gujarat.
Of course, he's a butcher of Gujarat. In 2002, thousands of Muslims were massacred in Gujarat, and no one can deny that. And he was the chief minister, and then afterwards he was not given a US visa for several years, till he came into power in 2014. So his government, and of course with right-wing cohorts that he has, like Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, the Amit Shah, home minister, these people. And let me share that in one of the cabinet committee on security meetings, and then afterwards there was a closed door meeting, Mohan Bhagwat, the head of RSS, was invited. Now, he doesn't hold any official position, in Indian hierarchy, but because he's the ideologue, their main ideology is RSS's ideology. That's why he is called where the services chiefs are sitting. So India is right now in the hands of this frenzy, this hysteria, war
and these
hysteria.
RSS schools are the next batch of Indian soldiers and officers that would be joining the ranks of Indian Army.
And they go in the public, and of course, as you know, if you have seen the uniform, there's a khaki, shorts they wear, and they wear white shirts, and then they hold long clubs, wooden sticks, and they do parades and stuff like that. But if you go in detail about RSS formation and later on what it has been doing, Nathuram Godse, the one who assassinated Gandhi, their top leader, was also a member of RSS. So you can well imagine that, and it was banned by Nehru immediately after the assassination of Gandhi. So, but now they are in power. RSS cadre has risen to the ranks. People like
Rather,
Modi.
staying on the same subject matter, I want to go to the root of the matter. To what extent is India's aggression towards Pakistan and Kashmir rooted in the Hindutva ideology, as you pointed out, and why is the world underestimating the dangerous rise of this ethno-religious extremism?
I think you raised a key point. West, for some reason, has always, not just now, has had a soft corner for India. As DG ISPR pointed out, that
they're not labeling it as extremism.
Bollywood, there was India's so-called soft image, as promoted through Bollywood, has shown a picture to the West of singing and dancing Indians and stuff, and it has always been the case, and the so-called largest democracy of the world. But its reality is that there have been pogroms, there have been riots, there have been massacres. Who can forget that Indian Armed Forces attacked the Golden Temple in Amritsar, the holiest place of Sikhs, and General Kuldeep Singh Barar was used by the Indian Army, and he used tanks, in the Golden Temple, and Akal Takht was hit by tank shells.
They have a long history of desecrating religious places.
Yes, they massacred thousands of Sikhs that day, Operation Blue Star in 1984. And then later on, when Indira Gandhi was assassinated, thousands of Sikhs, Ahmed, were massacred in Delhi.
Absolutely. I think the question, Rafi, over here is that when we say minorities are not safe in India, we're not only talking about the Muslims anymore. Sikhs make for 8% of the numbers in the Indian Army, who are now being labeled as carrying out mutiny in the Indian Armed Forces. This is a big statement now. This is the divide that we've been talking about for quite some time. Pakistan has been alarming the world, the United Nations, the world bodies, about the dangers this RSS ideology poses, not only to Muslims, but to Sikhs, to Christians, to Jains, every other minority that is living in India.
Well, we have to make a comparison over here. Looking at Pakistan and looking at India, the minorities in Pakistan are standing with the armed forces of Pakistan. We see multiple videos on social media. Even we are airing multiple videos of Sikhs and Christians. They are making videos and they are saying that they stand with the armed forces of Pakistan. Just yesterday or day before yesterday, we saw a video of a Sikh, and he was holding a gun, and an M16, and he was saying that India, aa sakte ho to aao. If you dare, come, and we will fight alongside the military of Pakistan, the armed forces of Pakistan. We stand united. And looking at the other side of the story, looking at India, we see the minorities being targeted and the minorities being labeled as mutineers. And this is just a clear example, this is just a clear comparison, a very simple comparison of what is going on the ground level in both the countries. So how the minorities in Pakistan stand with the armed forces, stand with the government, support the government and the armed forces, and what is going on in India on the ground.
Rafi, not just inside India, they've also made assassination attempts and successful assassinations of Canadian and US citizens in the soil of USA and
on
Canada,
foreign soil,
on
exactly.
foreign soil.
So
Yes, you're right. Hardeep Singh Nijjar was
Exactly.
assassinated in Canada, and of course they tried to assassinate Gurpatwant Singh Pannu in America, and Gurpatwant Singh Pannu now has released a video, you may have watched that. He has openly called upon the Sikhs to support Pakistan.
Yes.
And he said, don't let Indian army cross Punjab to to attack Pakistan, and Sikhs will prevent that. The thing is, India itself is a terrorist entity, and its intelligence agency, RAW, Research and Analysis Wing, has launched a lot of terrorist attacks over the years. And as DG ISPR pointed out in one briefing earlier, and then he repeated it today in front of the international media, yesterday, that one Indian officer, intelligence officer, is openly asking one terrorist in Pakistan that don't worry, we'll keep sending you money, and we'll send them in small batches, so that you don't get caught by Pakistani authorities.
And this wasn't the first time. The last subversive activities being carried out by Indian spy Kulbhushan Yadav was exposed in front of the world. The International Court of Justice was also given evidence. What is the onus now, Raza Khan, on the world? Because the world has, I think, sincerely realized now where this is going. Pakistan has been alarming, and I think more than we talk about Pakistan's military prowess at the moment, this has been a huge victory for Pakistan on the diplomatic front as well.
Exactly.
Yes, you're right, but the fact is, I'll come back to it. Ganva asked me earlier why West doesn't, castigates India or penalizes India. It has always, right from the...
Right, we'll take you live now where DG ISPR is addressed.
From Adampur. One has targeted their own area, General Adampur, and 5 have targeted in Indian Punjab, General area, Amritsar. मैं आपको एक शॉकिंग खबर देना चाहता हूं। इंडिया ने अब से थोड़ी देर पहले 6 बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल आदमपुर से फायर किए हैं। इनमें से एक बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल आदमपुर में ही हिट किया है और बाकी 5 मिसाइल्स भारतीय पंजाब में अमृतसर के इलाके में हिट किए हैं। इंडिया अपनी मजमूम साजिशों के ज़रिए इंडियन पंजाब में सिखों की आबादियों को टारगेट कर रहा है। हमारी तमाम हमदर्दी सिखों के साथ है, उन अक़लियतों के साथ है जो कि इस वक्त उसकी अंदरूनी साजिशों और मुजालिम का शिकार भी हो रहे हैं। This is a shocking development, a provocation of highest order, where India has now started firing ballistic missiles at its own population, which doesn't make any sort of sense. Insanity और अकल से माऊफ एक हरकत। अपने ही मुल्क में 5 बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल अमृतसर में और एक आदमपुर में गिरा दिए हैं, टारगेट कर दिए हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary, who was addressing the media. This is breaking news right now. India has fired 5 ballistic missiles directed towards its own land of Indian Punjab, Amritsar. Once again, we update you that India has fired 5 ballistic missiles directed towards Amritsar, its own Indian soil. This is the height of propaganda, and all rules of engagement have been broken. DG ISPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary once again has highlighted and informed the world. This is breaking news that India has fired 5 ballistic missiles towards its own soil, including Amritsar. Our special correspondent Raza Khan. Yes, Raza.
I'm not surprised that India has done this, and I can tell you and the viewers very simply as to why. Because of exactly the kind of discussion that we were having earlier, it wants the people, the Punjabis, because most of the population of Punjab is Sikh. It wants them to sort of know as if Pakistan is attacking them. So it is attacking them itself. That is, it has done that. It has done that earlier also and today. Otherwise, why would you hit your own population? It wants them to know and to have hatred for Pakistan, that look, Pakistan is attacking. In fact, they are themselves using their missiles to attack Amritsar.
But there's another side to this, to tell the world that this is Pakistan,
Yes.
and to de-escalate the situation. That's the fear amongst the ranks of Indian Army right now.
Exactly. They don't want Pakistan's massive retaliation to come. So they're using these sort of dirty tactics, these dirty shenanigans on their part, are just meant not only for their own population, the Sikhs, that look, you are supposed to have a soft heart for them and a soft corner for them, and they are hitting you with missiles. So it is, look at the cycle, which has, this is India basically playing a dirty game with its own people.
I mean, I've heard of friendly fire, but this has got to be a new low that this
Well,
generation
Ahmed, this is one false flag operation on top of another false flag operation, and we are now used to this. We've seen this right now. We've seen this in 2019. We've seen this in 2016 in Uri, and we've seen this in 2019 in Pulwama also. So now the world, their eyes have opened. Now, it's the digital age. Everyone is a reporter, as Raza previously mentioned, that this cannot go on for long. And now it's complete, utter chaos and complete panic in the ranks of the Indian military. So that is why they're resorting to such tactics.
I would like to point out that somehow all of these false flag upon false flag always line up with their upcoming elections in India. They're trying to make some electoral gains through this dirty business.
And never has the world seen propaganda like this.
Well, and of course, you know, Ahmed, they also, coming back to the previous point and linking it with development, India has always been looked upon by West as a bulwark against China from 1950s. Because China, of course, is a communist country.
But that bubble has burst, certainly.
Yes, you know, so, but the fact is India will never be a bulwark against China. It can only bully its weaker neighbors, smaller neighbors, like, Sri Lanka, Maldives.
And this is not about neighbors anymore as well. Now, six ballistic missiles from Adampur have been fired. And once again, we give you this breaking news that these ballistic missiles have been fired from Adampur and, of course, towards Amritsar. So
Five of them
yes.
towards Amritsar,
yes.
and one towards Adampur.
Yes. So, I mean, on its own population, like Raza has once again highlighted, and Rafi also said, this is one false flag operation upon another. But I mean, even for electoral gains,
I think even a child would know, Ahmed, that this purpose is simple, to hit the Sikh population. Amritsar is a Sikh city, majority are Sikh.
Majority
so
Punjab,
they want to hit Amritsar and say, see, this is what Pakistan
and
is
the heart
doing.
of Punjab.
So they are playing a dirty game, and I think the Sikh population of India should open their eyes and should remember the Operation Blue Star and numerous other operations which India has carried out and killed Sikhs in massive numbers. And those massacres show that Sikhs made a terrible decision of joining India in 1947. You know, they would have been better off with Pakistan.
This act shows the Indian desperation and panic.
Well, Ghanwa, we also must see, why is it always the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir that is targeted? Why is it Amritsar, where the population is Sikh population? Why is it not the Hindu majority areas that Pakistan would attack?
Right.
If Pakistan is attacking them, why do we not target other areas of, more value?
Yes,
why is it going to be?
It's a very important point raised by Rafe, that are we idiots? I mean, if we have to attack, why would we attack a Sikh majority city? Ahmed, I mean, this is common sense, Ghinwa, that, there's so many Hindu majority cities in India. If Pakistan has to attack, Pakistan can also attack them. Why would Pakistan attack Amritsar with 5 missiles? So it is India
And
itself.
all those people, the Sikhs who are calling on the Indian government and they are supporting Pakistan, why would we target the Sikhs if Pakistan is doing
When
this?
we've already garnered their support from them, yes.
Exactly. When Sikh leaders themselves are saying they don't fight Pakistan, fight in, Indian Army. Indian Army has killed so many Sikhs over the years. There is great anger in the Sikhs against Hindus.
Well, obviously, this is politically motivated because, Raghanma, as you just mentioned, that every time there's an election coming about or there's, some political gain required, they target Pakistan and they use
But
such false
there's
flag
still rules of
operations.
engagement. I
Exactly.
mean, this is going beyond any known rule of engagement
After they
in
have
the context
only
of history.
targeted
Ahmed-
civilian places, can we say they're following
I mean,
any rules of engagement?
absolutely. I think this is not even, in
Places
any
of
code of
worship.
morality.
Ahmed and
anymore.
Ghanwa,
Neelam, Jhelum, like
Yes,
these are
exactly.
by all humanitarian laws, they have violated all international laws. We cannot expect any sort of
targeting women and children,
sensibility.
absolutely,
Yes.
defenseless
well,
women.
and also besides that, we must say that the pictures that they have brought out, the missiles that they have claimed that is the PL-15 landing in plain grass with no damage around. Well, if you want to cook something up, well, cook it well. At least put some mind
use your
into
own
it.
Bollywood directors.
Exactly,
And, they would
use
do a
your
better job.
Bollywood
I'm sure all of us in studios agree on one thing, that their lack of professionalism in their armed forces was known to the world, especially Pakistan. This time around, with all the episodes in the past 3 to 5 days, what has been exposed is the lack of intelligence amongst their intelligence agencies, their advisors, their national security experts. It has just been a complete mockery of this falsehood that was created, that we have Ajit Doval, we have Jay Shankar, we have the research and analysis wing. I mean, Raza Khan, this has, like I said, as an expert, and even if we are neutral on this stage, even if we see this from an international observer's perspective, this has got to be beyond face saving, embarrassing as ever.
And Ahmed, I would like to praise DG ISPR and his team, because ever since the attack, in the early hours of 7th May, we are seeing DG ISPR alert and awake, Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary and his team, and even now the latest breaking news. So this goes to show that other than the armed forces itself, who are facing India at the border, at the but the battle of the airwaves, so to say, Pakistan is doing a much better job. India has had Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs, few briefings here and there, but Pakistan's the media wing of armed forces is doing a great job by informing Pakistani population and the world population that this is exactly what is happening, and this is what India is doing, and they are
We're displaying
propping up the
transparency,
morale of Pakistani.
giving the proof, giving the evidences. From the first day we've asked for credible, neutral investigations, which has been refused. We have taken the national, international media on the line of control. We have, what else can Pakistan do? What else can we do?
I think Anwar and Ahmed, let's look at it from this angle. In fact, I would like to ask you, Ahmed, a very simple question. Where is the Indian Air Force? I mean, can you please let me know where is Indian Air Force after that initial attempt at incursion, and of course hitting of civilian targets in Pakistan and getting a bloody nose,
I think
getting
they've run
getting
away.
its 5 aircraft shot down? Where has it disappeared?
They've
Have
run
you-
away with
have
their
you
tail
even
between their
heard-
legs.
No, I'd even accept them running away. I think this is beyond running away.
I think they are literally in
They're
a state of
afraid.
shock.
Yeah.
That they cannot, risk further downing of their planes. That's why they are not flying them anymore. They are
As
so much
pointed out by Ahmed,
afraid of Pakistan
Yeah.
Air Force.
In
Absolutely.
one night, they incurred the damage of $1 billion+ in the downing of those planes.
So this goes to show that Pakistani armed forces, be that PAF, be that Pakistan Army, and of course, air defense. So they're all alert, and they
Well, Ahmed, we also must say that now they are downgrading their military tactics, because we see that they have now resorted to sending drones into the territory of Pakistan, coming down from fighter jets, because we've downed 5 of those. So now they've resorted to unmanned vehicles, aerial vehicles.
Even ballistic missiles on their own
On their
soil.
own people.
On their own
soil.
people, on their own people.
I think if there was ever a self-destruct button that existed, India would have pressed it by now.
I
That's
think
the
they've
kind of
already pressed it.
embarrassment. Yes.
They have already pressed it by making this huge mistake. once again.
Absolutely. And once again, for our viewers joining us, we update you with this breaking news. The Director General of the Inter-Services Public Relations, DGISPR, Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary, has just broken the news that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles towards its own population, 5 of them directed towards Amritsar, 1 towards Adhampur. Once again updated by DGISPR that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles on its own population. Once again, this jingoism, this fascist regime and this absolutely annihilative agenda is now in front of the world. 1 ballistic missile has been fired towards Adhampur, 5 of them have been fired towards Amritsar. This has been, of course, the news has been broken here on PTV World. DGISPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary once again told the world that India is targeting its own Sikh population to, of course, gain sympathy. And he also said that all our sympathies right now are with the Sikh population of India. Of course, we keep bringing you this breaking news as we discuss it in the Situation Room as well, that the unfolded events of the past 48 hours have now reached a new low as well. India has fired 6 ballistic missiles directed towards Amritsar, 1 towards Adhampur. Of course, it is once again breaking news here on PTV World. Raza Khan, all majority of these so-called self-destructive measures, as Ghanwa rightly said, that they've already pressed the button, have been already exposed. And like I said, in the past 6 hours, I've gauged Twitter, which is now known as X, various other platforms, where voices are now creeping up from India that, you know, they are being embarrassed on the global scale.
But these are dirty attacks.
Yes.
These are dirty attacks with a dirty purpose, as I pointed out earlier. It doesn't take, you know, little heart or Clausewitz to figure it out what
yes.
India is trying to do. It is trying to send a message to the Indian Sikhs in Punjab that Pakistan is hitting you. This is the dirty game they are playing. They have hit them by themselves, as DGISPR pointed out, 5 missiles hitting Amritsar. You know, as if Pakistan is short of targets in India and Pakistan will only target Amritsar. So it was a fake.
But the bigger question,
agenda is simple.
But the bigger question
to hit the Sikhs.
I understand, but the bigger question is that even if 20% of this is exposed in Amritsar, in the Sikhs of India, why don't these so-called, you know, national security experts think that what would be the fallout of this information being exposed if the Sikhs tomorrow morning realize that this has happened from inside India?
You've raised a very important point. You know, a lot of Sikhs actually know that they are cannon fodder for the majority of Indians. For Hindutva loving right-wing forces in India, they are just cannon fodder. They are being used, as you pointed out, in large numbers in armed forces because they are martial people. They have always been the bedrock of armed forces throughout even during the British era. So they usually they're physically fit and they go to armed forces and they are being used by India and massacred by India.
They already lost
Hindus.
half of that population by virtue of the farmers' protest that happened a while, you know, quite some time ago. So I mean, the dissent in Indian Punjab, Rafi, was already there.
It was already there and it's building up. And you just previously mentioned that, you know, the intelligence of the intelligence agencies, how that's playing up. Intelligence is not the right word. They don't even have common sense. So, you know, it's just hard to see that how do they expect this to play out? How do they expect the Sikhs of Amritsar to actually believe their lies?
But like I said, Rafi, what is your analysis if this information is exposed in the morning? What, do they not expect the fallout from
You know, Ahmed, I think it's going to be exposed earlier. It's going to be exposed in the night. It's going to be, the Sikhs are going to find out, the minorities are going to find out.
They're on the verge of losing their own Punjab. It has come to a point where on the verge of occupying Kashmir, they're going to lose their own
And you know
Punjab.
something, Ahmed? They're going to lose it from within. The Sikhs are going to stand up to the Indian military and, you know, the Modi regime, and they're going to maybe take Punjab on their own. So Pakistan
question
doesn't even
is-
need to do anything. It hasn't done anything yet. It's always been on the defensive up till now. And our DGISPR has said that when Pakistan attacks, when it attacks, the whole world will know that Pakistan has attacked India. We are not going to need their Indian media to tell the world that, you know, Pakistan has attacked India.
Well, we've got latest news over here once again, as we just told you, that the DGISPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary has just broken the news of India that has fired 6 ballistic missiles directed towards its own population of Amritsar and Adhampur. Once again, if you've tuned in, we give this breaking news that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles towards its own population of Amritsar targeting the Sikh population. DG ISPR also said that our sympathies are with the Sikh population at the moment. And latest news right now, gentlemen, and of course Ganwa, right now, is that BBC Urdu has been banned in India. This is latest news right now.
And I
Oh
know
my
why
God.
this is the case, Ahmed. And after this transmission, I can share the photos with you why, and the article with you why. Because BBC reached those places, at least 3 of them, where the planes were Indian planes were shot down. 2 in Jammu and Kashmir, Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and 1 Bathinda in the Indian Punjab. So it reached and it did investigative reporting, and it even got hold of a YouTuber, an Indian YouTuber, who was the first one at the site in Bathinda. So that is why, because of its neutral reporting, I think BBC Urdu has been banned by, and as you know, several Pakistani YouTubers have always been banned, have just been banned, and Pakistani TV channels are banned, 8,000 Twitter accounts are banned, X accounts are banned. So India is in a state of complete shock, because it just thought that we will just go in, hit a few targets in Pakistan as a revenge for Pahalgam, and that will be it. What it did not, Ginwa figure it out, what it did not realize, that Pakistan will respond, and Pakistan has responded, and Pakistan has downed their prized assets, aerial assets, 5 jet fighters, 3 Rafales, 1 Su-30, 1 MiG-29, and Indian Air Force is on the defensive, and Indian leadership is on the defensive. They are using these drones, and you know, we all know they have minor impact, you know, and they cost you know, a lot of money, and they just go and you know, perhaps hit a shop there, a restaurant there, a house somewhere else. So they don't have much impact, but in order to placate its audience, India is its population, India is going through this.
That it's infiltrating Pakistani territory, the border, and you know, they want to garner the trust of the people, and they are making more mistakes than that.
Rafi, I would like to give one name to these dirty India's dirty antics. How about it, Ahmed? Dirty India playing dirty antics.
I mean,
And their dirty
even
antics-
dirty seems to be clean to me after this. You know, after launching 6 ballistic missiles
On their own people.
on your own population, even the word dirty sounds clean to me. This has got to be, you know, come up with a new vocabulary after.
They thought that because Pakistan has launched
This is just
such
going to
initiatives
fuel the
like the
Khalistan
Kartarpur
movement further.
corridor,
Yes.
Kartarpur corridor, so Sikhs have a soft corner towards Pakistan. Then they come in Pakistan for large numbers because you know, Guru Nanak was born here at Nankana Sahib, so they come here. There are so many Sikh places of worship here in Pakistan, and they come in.
Sacred
Well, Raza,
Pakistan.
just yesterday, 96 were allowed to come into Pakistan towards their, you know, worship places. So this is, you know, a feather in the cap of the Pakistani diplomatic,
And even
Pakistan
DC
diplomatically,
Yes,
how they're
absolutely.
handling the
Let
situation.
me just add here, you know, it was, you know, the PT World is giving this news. The DG ISPR himself said that it wants to create a cleavage between Pakistan and the Sikh population. So
Yeah, he's mentioned again, our sympathies are with the Sikh population at the moment. He said India is targeting Sikh population. All our sympathies are with the Sikh community at this moment
See,
who have been targeted. Yes.
this is what I was saying.
Yes.
That it doesn't take rocket scientists to realize that this dirty game by India is to alienate or try to alienate Sikh population of Amritsar, the Indian Punjab. But it will fail. Indian Sikhs will realize that we will not sacrifice our blood for these Hindutva ideology run India, and DGISPR has done a great service to Pakistan by coming at this time of the night immediately after what happened, and he did not wait, and he just immediately decided
Well,
to
Raza,
inform.
adding to this, it's not just the DGISPR, it's our information minister, our deputy prime minister, our prime minister, all of us, the media persons sitting over here, Ahmed, Ghanwa, Raza, myself, all of the team of PTV World, PTV News, all our private media, we are bringing the facts to the world.
Absolutely.
We are,
Factual reporting, yes.
Exactly. So that's the responsibility that we have. And in comparison, Indian media, we just spoke about
And
that,
I think,
what they've
Rafi,
been
in
doing.
this entire scenario, in any war, the most lethal weapon is disinformation. We've seen AI-generated videos, we've seen false claims, but like I said, that with each passing day, all of this is being exposed. Do you also believe, I'm sure this is going to be a very hard-ended question, that certain voices will keep on rising with each passing day from within India that are being suppressed at the moment, who will question, a whole generation is going to question this past week of what they've done to their own country.
Exactly. You know, it's almost 1 billion people. Okay, so India, the people over there, they cannot be silenced for long. And even if they are silenced, how long can you engage a battle outside your territory and inside your territory? And now that we see that they're targeting their own communities, the Sikh communities, and also we see what's going on with the Muslims over there, the Christians over there, the Dalits over there, how badly the Indian government and the Hindutva regime, the Hindutva ideology is treating those people. So this is all going to fall apart and, you know, implode on itself.
And let me just point it out that, and this you may have heard during several briefings of DGISPR earlier as well, and he mentioned this in yesterday's briefing as well. There was a place called Chatti Singhpura. In year 2000, Bill Clinton was visiting India. India's RAW, the dirty intelligence agency that it is, attacked Sikhs at Chatti Singhpura and massacred them and put the blame on the Kashmiri freedom fighters. So India has a track record of such dirty attacks, and I'm not
And
surprised.
particularly against Sikh
and
population.
DGISPR is right in saying that Pakistan's sympathies are with Sikh population, and this is an attempt to have to create a cleavage between Pakistan and the Sikh population. But it will fail because the Sikhs will realize that, you know, our own armed forces are using you know, us in a dirty game by hitting us, as you pointed out, with 5 missiles in Amritsar, 1 at Adapur. So
Raza, do you think these fault lines that India is creating within its own population, within its own minorities, and they have so many of them, will be the downfall of India in the coming days, months, years?
yes, I fully you know, subscribe to what you're saying, that India's social fabric is in the is at risk because Dalits always you know, regard themselves as losers in the overall system of caste system of India. And then there have been attacks on Christians, the churches, Gurdwaras of the Sikhs, and Sikhs themselves, as I said, have been massacred on several occasions, be that Operation Blue Star in '84 or the assassination of Indira Gandhi, and then after that. So, and later on as well, there have been so many massacres of Sikhs, and who can forget the Jarnail Singh Bhindranwala, the Sikh leader who was massacred within the premises of the Golden Temple in Amritsar. So India's social fabric, there are so many you know, insurgencies going on, be that in the northeast, in Assam and in other areas. And we all know that India is a country that is you know, is trying to break at its seams because of the ethnic differences, because of caste differences. That's why.
But let me, you know, let me just give our viewers another perspective. On X, the Defense Minister Wajir Mohammad Asif has just tweeted about 20 minutes ago, and he's given a new name. We were searching for a new vocabulary of these Indian jets shot down. He's called them Tayare Zameen Par. So I mean, you know, it's just it is just mockery of an air force that had for long had the pride of calling itself the military might of South Asia. I mean, that's just right in front of everybody. Tayare Zameen Par. I mean, the story, the real story of Operation Sindoor. That being said, once again, if you've tuned in, we update our viewers. The DGISPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry has given the news that India has fired 5 ballistic missiles directed towards Amritsar on its own population. 5 ballistic missiles have been fired by India on its own soil, on its own people, on the Sikh population of Amritsar. 5 Indian ballistic missiles have been directed towards Amritsar on its own population. Once again, we update our viewers. The DGISPR also said our sympathies, the sympathies of the Pakistani armed forces in the nation, are with the Sikh population of India. 1 ballistic missile has been fired towards Adhampur, 5 towards Amritsar by India on its own population. 6 ballistic missiles have been fired by the Indian armed forces on their own population of Punjab, 5 towards Amritsar, 1 towards Adhampur. Right, once again, all of this on your screens here at PTV World. We continue with the Situation Room, give you all the updates.
Yes, Ahmed, I have some breaking information to share with you, which has come from credible security sources. Pakistan has electronic signature of this claim that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles in Indian Punjab, in areas of Amritsar and Adampur, and
Just a while ago, yes.
just a while ago. So Pakistan has the electronic signature to prove, in case somebody wants to know, and that how come you know that they fired it. So Pakistan has electronic signature.
Well, Raza, you know, this also proves the efficiency and the efficacy of our radar systems, that
Absolutely.
we are detecting these electrical
And
signals.
once again, we come bearing proof, we come bearing evidence, we come showing transparency, not just with claims like India, we come here bearing proof. for our people.
And Ganwa, the thing is that Pakistani armed forces, this may be 15 a.m. here at night, but Pakistani armed forces are alert and awake. They are defending Pakistan's aerial frontier, Pakistan's land frontier, Pakistan's maritime frontier. So PAF, Pakistan Army, Pakistan Navy, they're all its personnel, its leadership. We must praise them. General Asim and others like Air Chief Marshal Zahir and Admiral Naveed Ashraf. So these are the leaders of Pakistan Armed Forces.
Yes, the might and the dominance of the Pak Army forces is on full display for the world to see, for our enemy to see and go through with what we're putting them through actually.
Absolutely. Once again, the breaking right now on PTV World is not what DGISPR has said only, but the next breaking news we have for you, courtesy of PTV World at the Situation Room, as Raza Khan, our special correspondent, said that Pakistan has the electronic signature of this claim that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles on its own territory of Indian Punjab in the areas of Amritsar and Adampur tonight. Of course, once again, we tell you that Pakistan possesses the electronic signature of this claim that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles.
Yes, Ahmed, as I pointed out, that this seems to be, the case that India has tried to hit its Sikh population in Amritsar and Adampur for a simple reason, to show them that, look, you are being targeted by Pakistan. So this dirty antics by India clearly show that it wants to draw cleavage between Pakistan and the Sikh population. And Ganwa, I think it will fail badly, as Pakistan has the electronic signature of the missiles being launched and then missiles being hitting Amritsar and Adampur.
You know, we also must commend the DGISPR and the representatives of the Navy, Pakistan Navy and the Pakistan Air Force, how, the credible proofs that they've brought to light, and how they've explained the entire situation, and how they've, the briefing, the presser that was happened a few hours ago, they had the entire international media in front of them, and they gave them proof and facts, on-ground facts that actually occurred, and they proved, they even had the recording of the Indian fighter jet that was played there. And this actually shows that how committed Pakistan is towards regional peace and stability.
Yes, Sir Rafael, you pointed out an important fact that the media narrative war Pakistan Army has taken the
Clearly
lead.
won.
And in fact, some of the media and security analysts, Ahmed, after Operation Swift Retort in 2019 February, they had pointed out that why does India doesn't have an entity like an ISPR? And this point was actually raised by some Indians, because the kind of professionalism that we are seeing, with the Air Vice Marshal Aurangzeb sitting there, and and the naval representative was there as well, and Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary. They are coming in front of the population, in front of international media, and they are giving them the information. This is an information warfare these days, and we have to give information. India is
Factual information.
Factual information, and India is way behind us. It's Ministry of External Affairs just makes 2 female officers sit there, and like parrots, they come and they just say a few things, and then they leave without taking very many questions.
Raza, I think it works in their favor not to have an organization like the ISPR for them, as there's a distance between their public and their army where they don't feel answerable to their public, to the media, to anyone at all, because they don't have that accountability that we have towards our public.
Yes, you raised a point. The fact remains that in an age of information warfare, not only timely, less nor coming on air at this time of the night or early morning for that matter, DGISPR has basically trumped the Indians. Indians would have wanted that the Indian media would latch on to this attack as an attack from Pakistan, and by the early morning, you know, the fire of anger would have erupted amongst the Sikh population. So he has DGISPR deserves credit for coming on air, Ahmed, at this time and informing the populations in Pakistan and in India, and especially in Indian Punjab, that this is not Pakistan's doing.
Right, once again, breaking news here on PTV World. Pakistan has the electronic signature of the claim that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles in its own Indian Punjab areas of Amritsar and Adhampur tonight. Breaking news here on PTV World. Pakistan has the electronic signature of the claim that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles in Indian Punjab in its own areas of Amritsar, Adhampur. 5 missiles towards Amritsar, 1 towards Adhampur on its own Sikh population of India. Once again, breaking news here on PTV World that Pakistan now possesses the electronic signature of the claim that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles on its own population of Indian Punjab, the Sikh community. Once again, we update our viewers as well. The Situation Room, of course, continues analyzing the events of not only the past couple of days, but the current events that have unfolded in the past half an hour or so as well, that include the DGISPR, Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry, updating the world that India has fired 6 ballistic missiles on its own population, 5 towards Amritsar, 1 towards Adhampur, on its own Sikh population of India. India has targeted its own land, its own soil with 6 ballistic missiles. Of course, Pakistan now possesses the electronic signature of this claim as well.
Yes, Ahmed, news just in that security sources have further something to say about this particular attack. A, of course, we've discussed the fact that it wants to hit the Sikh population. B, it wants to show to the world or hoodwink the world into thinking that Pakistan is attacking India through these missiles. That's why India wants to further, go up the escalatory ladder. It wants to escalate further. So it has a two-pronged mission. One is to hit its own population, the Sikh population, and B, to tell the world that Pakistan is attacking India. So that's why India has to retaliate. So it is an ongoing situation which Pakistan is facing, Pakistani armed forces are facing, a Pakistani nation is facing. So Pakistani nation is standing behind Pakistani armed forces with the whole of a nation approach. Pakistan is going to confront India, is going to face India. Pakistan is a dignified nation and Pakistan will make sure that it fights for its defense, its dignity, its honor, its sovereignty, and Pakistani armed forces will make sure that they will defend Pakistan at any cost.
Exactly, and Raza, Pakistan is not just a dignified nation, it's a responsible nation. And it wants to ensure that there is peace and stability in the entire region and beyond. And for that,
rightfully pointed out, we have displayed diplomatic maturity, restraint. We have displayed and we have also engaged with humanitarian and international laws so far into this escalation and in this aggression, unprovoked illegal aggression by India.
Yes, Ganva, Pakistan is at the receiving end of aggression from India, but make no mistake, Pakistan, as DGISPR has pointed out on several, and of course our Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif pointed out in his address to the nation that the blood which has been spilled by India will be avenged.
Yes, we have been giving
make
them
no mistake about that. Pakistan
a swift,
will
resolute and notch-up response as we have been giving for the last 48 hours, one after the other.
well, DGISP also said that we have each and every drop of blood on our conscience, and we will, engage, we will reply, and we will give a befitting reply, and the whole world will see.
Once again, we update our viewers. 6 ballistic missiles have been fired by India towards its own population. We're not even talking about Pakistan at the moment. These 6 ballistic missiles have been fired towards India's own population, the own Sikh community. 5 towards Amritsar, 1 towards Adampur. DGISPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary has told the world India has now resorted to a false flag operation. Another one attacked its own population of Indian Punjab, Amritsar and Adampur, targeting its own Sikh population. Pakistan possesses the electronic signature of this claim as well. The truth is out. Once again, this fascist regime has gone bonkers. It is right now in front of the world. The happenings of the past hour or so, India has resorted to targeting its own civilian population of Amritsar, Adampur, of Indian Punjab, Pakistan possessing the electronic signature of this claim as well. DGISPR also mentioned that the sympathies of the Pakistani armed forces and the Pakistani nation are with the Sikh community of India, who are in grave danger at the hands of their own armed forces and their own regime, which is RSS Hindutva minded and of course ideologically possesses the hatred towards anyone who is included in this minority, which they consider anyone else from the Hindu religion. Once again, these 5 ballistic missiles towards Amritsar, 1 towards Adampur, constitute for 6 ballistic missiles that have been fired by India on its own Sikh community of Indian Punjab.
Raza, what do you think India has to gain from this insanity, this crazy move that they have made? Rafi, I would also like your comments on this.
Yes, Vanva, but to answer you simply, the fact is that a right-wing government which thrives on hate, RSS thrives on hate against Muslims. So for them, these sort of inflammatory rhetoric leading up to such sort of an aggression, it suits them by creating a fear of Pakistan, fear of Pakistan army, Pakistani armed forces, and spreading it throughout India is it garners votes, of course, in the elections, and it's in their opinion, in the opinion of the so-called right-wing leaders of India, it gives them a sort of leeway to say to Indian population that, look, we are the ones who are attacking Pakistan, your erstwhile enemy, and not the Indian Congress or Congress party or Samajwadi party or other parties. So BJP is trying to show to its Indian population by this continuous aggression against Pakistan that it is the so-called champion of Indian security, and it is hitting Pakistan. So this is might be their goal, but Pakistan is alert and awake. Pakistani nation is awake. Pakistani armed forces are awake, and they are making sure that Pakistan's aerial frontier, Pakistan's maritime frontier, and Pakistan's land frontier are all secure and safe, and Pakistan is responding methodically against India. Yes, Rafi.
Well, India is always, the BJP regime is also trying to demonize the Pakistani nation, the Pakistani military, because they want to garner votes. They want more votes coming in for their BJP regime and their, the Hindutva regime that they have going on. So they are trying to demonize Pakistan, and they are trying to, with another false flag operation, atop a false flag operation, now they are trying to, tag this onto Pakistan that we have targeted. They will be doing that. News reports will be coming in shortly that India is now claiming everywhere on their media, on their, the Godi media as it is called, that Pakistan has conducted these attacks on Amritsar and in Adampur.
But the way they're going, they might as well claim another Roswell at the moment. People are more bound to believe aliens have landed than their false claims at the moment.
Exactly.
That's the mockery of this.
Exactly. And our DGISPR also appreciated Bollywood, and he said that Bollywood is great. You make great movies, you make great films, very entertaining, but this is not Bollywood. This is actual conflict. And if
Lives
you are
at
asking
stake.
for, exactly, if you're asking for, if you're trying to get into a conflict, please don't believe that this is going to work out like a Bollywood movie. This is going to work out very differently.
They've completely ignored the human cost in this entire conflict.
Exactly, Ghanwa, and not just the human cost. It's the humans of their own people, the humans of their own territory. Pardon me. So, this is just absurd, and it's just preposterous that they believe that their own people are cannon fodder.
Well, like I said, I am short of words now. Never ever in the history of wars that have been fought on this Mother Earth have I witnessed such such mockery of the state of affairs. And like I said, it's not only limited to a military which was, a self-proclaimed military might of South Asia has been exposed, but I am gobsmacked at the lack of professionalism in the intelligence agencies, the advisors, everybody at the helm of affairs who has been advising the Modi regime on this entire matter have actually come to a point, and I think we all remember of certain voices, Raza Khan, that came from within India or from various political parties other than BJP that had claimed in the past that Modi would bring an end to India's so-called dominance of South Asia.
You're absolutely right. The so-called net service provider in this region, as India is being touted by America because India has become a lapdog of the West. And especially US, has come to believe that perhaps India will act as a bulwark against China, the rising China. But China gave a bloody nose to India in Galwan. We all know more than 20 Indian soldiers were killed by Chinese soldiers, and so the fact is that India is just a bully. Ahmed, India has, it has a history of creating terrorists. It first created Tamil Tigers, Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, the LTTE in Sri Lanka. And then after he created them, it itself sent an peacekeeping force. Indian peacekeeping force was sent to Sri Lanka, but then the same LTTE turned up against India, and in their words, killed one of its prime ministers, former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. So India has paid a price. Who can forget Mukti Bahani was created by, and now even Modi himself, admitted that. We created Mukti Bahani and we liberated Bangladesh for that matter. So India's RAW has a history of playing dirty, and this 5 missiles being fired at Amritsar is a dirty attack with a dirty mindset to show to the Indian Sikhs that Pakistan is basically under, Pakistan is attacking India. So let's see how it proceeds. But again, I must point out that Pakistan has played its cards well. Pakistan's, Saudi Arab's State Minister for Foreign Affairs was here, Adil Al-Jubair was there, and others were also there. And Pakistan is, our Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, Ishaq Dar, is communicating with the diplomatic community regularly, informing them of Pakistan's perspective. And what we are doing is we are playing both the diplomatic card well, and of course Pakistani armed
Raza,
forces.
will you agree with me that we are witnessing history tonight, that in the history books tonight will be the day that will be quoted as the downfall, the beginning of the downfall of India?
Yes, in a bigger picture, you're right, Ranva, and India has gotten used to bullying the neighbors, smaller neighbors like Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, but Pakistan has never.
It shows their expansionist intentions. They have an open dispute, territorial dispute with all their neighbors,
Exactly.
not just Pakistan.
Exactly, and because of India's dirty antics, SAARC has become useless. And as a result of SAARC becoming useless, now you're right, Pakistan is the only country, and of course the Chief of Army Staff was right, General Asif Munir, to remind the nation about the two-nation theory in his address to overseas Pakistanis convention recently. And of course he pointed out that Kashmir is the jugular vein of Pakistan, and India were quite pissed off at that. That how come Chief of Army Staff said that, but he raised a good point, a valid point, that Pakistan came into being on an ideology of two-nation theory, and Pakistan.
Rafi, what do you think is emboldening India to make all these moves? Do you think there's elements behind their actions right now that are supporting them behind the scenes?
Well, we also have to mention that India has had the Western backing for a very long time. And also, with their growing closeness with Israel, that has also emboldened them to make such irresponsible actions. But the West is now also coming off to a more stance it's taking a step back from India now, and they want India to realize that this cannot go on much longer, because India's tactics are just falling apart on themselves. And also, it is pertinent to mention that if Pakistan can detect these, digital signals of the ballistic missiles, the entire world can actually do that.
Certain sources are claiming false flag operation on Sikh community has led to several Sikh regiments revolting against BJP government now. Certain sources have claimed 14 Sikh regiment Pathankot, 19 Sikh regiment Kupwara, 20 Sikh regiment Meerut, 24 Sikh regiment in Samba. This, like I said, sources so far claim. But this is the kind of damage that is being done internally, as Rafi mentioned as well, that internally they will destabilize their nation to a point where it's beyond saving. And like all of our experts have mentioned, the panelists here on this special, crisis room that we're talking here as well, that firing on your own population, not an example exists in the history of the wars fought in this world. We're not only talking about this continent, we're talking about the history. 6 ballistic missiles fired towards its own population by India. We possess the electronic signature. We've got the facts right in front of the world to be put out as well. And I think that so-called fascism and belief of being a military might in this region has all gone down the drain. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Well, you know, Ahmed, our Information Minister Ataullah Tarar has just posted on the social media platform X, and he's saying that targeting its own Sikh citizens with ballistic missiles is India's deep conspiracy against its minorities. Pakistan stands with the Sikh community in this difficult time. These cowardly acts are exposing India's true face to the world. What a shameful act, and what a shameful act indeed. Because this cannot go on for much longer, because the entire world will see how India is acting out in this war, in this conflict between India and Pakistan. This is not going to play well for India in the long run, even in the short term. This is going to have its repercussions, it's going to have its consequences.
Absolutely, and I think those consequences have already been put in front of the world as well. Certain sane voices have been coming from inside India as well, and I think it's going to be very, very sane if we see anyone raising a voice now as well. And I think it's not the fact that's just mockery in front of the world, but firing on your own population has got to be a real source of embarrassment as well. Mentioned that the sympathies of the Pakistani nation and the armed forces are with the Sikh community as well. Sources are claiming revolt among Sikhs already in various regiments. What can we expect to unfold in the next 24 hours?
Rafi, I think I have a feeling this is going to take a bit of while, and I think this is not going away. The things as they're enveloping and developing, we must be prepared for a battle for a long haul. I mean, this is me and my humble perspective that Pakistan needs to be prepared to fight India at all levels, be that the narrative, war of narratives, physical war, physical battles, war of words, war of media.
Right, we've got breaking news. Ata Tarar, the information minister, has said targeting its own Sikh citizens with ballistic missiles is India's deep conspiracy against its minorities. Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ata Tarar has said targeting its own Sikh citizens with ballistic missiles is India's deep conspiracy against its own people. He said Pakistan stands with the Sikh community in this difficult time. This has been said by the Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ataullah Tarar. He says Pakistan stands with the Sikh community in this difficult time, attacking its own population. He said these cowardly acts expose India's true face to the world. What a shameful act has been mentioned by Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ataullah Tarar, who says targeting its own population, its own citizens with ballistic missiles is India's deep conspiracy against its own minorities. Yes, Raza Khan.
Ahmed, as I pointed out earlier, the moment this breaking news came in first, that it doesn't take a security expert to realize, or anybody with a lot of knowledge to realize, that India's dirty game was always to hit the Sikhs themselves and then sort of trying to convey to them that, look, Pakistan is hitting you, and this was the dirty aim and the dirty shenanigans of India that I mentioned, and nothing is beyond them. They can do anything they feel can further their Hindutva mindset, Hindutva ideology, and sacrificing a few Sikhs here and there.
Do you think they will be successful in creating fault lines in the Sikh community and Pakistan and the Sikh community and the Hindu population itself?
No, I think Renwa, as I pointed out, Sikhs have gone through a lot. They may have made a mistake. They
Staying back
in
with
1947 they made a mistake. They themselves wanted to stay with Hindus. Otherwise, the Punjab, undivided Punjab, was reaching almost today's Delhi. So the Punjab would have been such a large part of Pakistan. But they decided. But then later on, when they went through these massacres, such as the one I mentioned in '84, the Bhindranwala was a Sikh leader. He was in that Golden Temple along with his followers, and General Shah Beg Singh was also there, a Sikh leader. So they were all thousands of Sikhs were massacred, and then there were massacres in all over Indian Punjab. So Khalistan movement erupted, and now it has spread all through Canada, Europe, America, you name it. And that's why India has to resort to dirty acts like assassination of Harjit Singh Nijjar in Canada through expatriate Indians. And they try to do that to have Guru Patwant Singh Pannu, one of the Sikh leaders in America. So its dirty attacks are expected, but Pakistan will face them. Pakistan is facing them, and Pakistan is making sure that it defends.
But Raza, we also have to mention how the international community is, losing the faith in India's tactics. They are not convinced by the India's tactics anymore. And also, we must mention that Pakistan is gaining a lot of momentum diplomatically, and it's also garnering a lot of support internationally in the international community and in the diplomatic spheres as well. So we can also, looking at the trend that has been set, we can also expect India to conduct maybe some other misadventure now, because now that they've conducted another false flag operation into their own territory, we have to see the trend, Ahmed, because we have to, we are at war, and if we're at war, we have to be, in view of what could happen next. So India has conducted another false flag operation in its own territory. We could be expecting it to have conducted another misadventure towards Pakistan.
Absolutely. Once again, we update our viewers. Pakistan stands with the Sikh community in this difficult time. This has been categorically said by the DGISPR and also the Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Ataullah Tarar, who said India's targeting of its own population is absolutely barbaric and shameful. He said our sympathies are with the Sikh community of India at the moment. He said this further highlights the dangerous game and the shameful acts of the Indian military and political leadership targeting its own population. A while ago, DGISPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary had reported and given us the updates, given the entire world the updates that Pakistan possesses the electronic signature of the fact that India fired 6 ballistic missiles on its own population of Indian Punjab, including 5 on Amritsar, 1 on Adhampur, targeting its own Sikh population. Once again, India lies exposed in front of the world, targeting its own population at the moment.
Ahmed, the fact is that we are dealing with people. For them, massacre of civilians is a normal thing. India doesn't care about international community's concerns about loss of civilian lives. As we already pointed out, the 33 Pakistanis have lost their lives, civilians have lost their lives, and 70 plus are injured. And most of them were hit during the early hours of 7th May, when India launched its dastardly aggression. So the fact remains that India is up to this dirty antics, and but we'll make sure that Pakistan Army and Pakistani Air Force and Pakistan Navy will defend Pakistan, and they are defending Pakistan. But this attack, Ahmed, what to talk of it? I mean, this we thought that India can't go much lower than this, but this is a typical raw playbook. Indian intelligence agency raw. It cooks up such plans, and it makes sure that it keeps on launching such dirty attacks, and poor Sikhs, poor Christians, poor Muslims. You know, India has become a lynching ground of Muslims. Indian Muslims who always try to be loyal to India because they stayed back in India, but they have paid a huge price, Ghanwa. They have been massacred. Poor Muslims are going, even carrying, buffalo meat, not the cow meat, but they are labeled that you're taking cow meat. They're lynched, massacred.
And Raza, those people are licensed to, they also have the government issued licenses to carry the buffalo meat. And still, the mob mentality of the Hindus, the Hindutva mob mentality, they just lynch those Muslims. So it's the minorities that are being targeted at every front in India. And it's you can't even call it a front because it's just inside their own country. So targeting their own people. Missiles are supposed to be used for
legalizing these actions against their minorities. Could you tell us about the actions they've taken against the Muslim minorities by legalizing certain?
You know, they've gone up into their the assemblies, the national assemblies, and they've changed these so many policies, the Waqf Amendment Bill, and such. It's just absurd how they are taking away the rights of the Muslims as enshrined in their own constitution that gives
taking away their identity,
well,
their
it's the
heritage, their lineage.
Exactly. It's the so-called largest democracy of the world. It's a secular state for that matter, as its name suggests. And it's just absurd that how they're treating their own people and how they are going against their own constitution. It's just alarming, and it's just,
And let me point out that you mentioned about how Muslims are quoting some of the examples of the past. In 2002, there was a Godhra train burning incident which turned into a mass lynching exercise of Muslims in Gujarat. And who was the chief minister? The same person who was the prime minister.
The butcher of
Gujarat. Thousands, Ahmed, literally thousands. There was a member of Indian Parliament, former member, called Ahsan Jafri. Do you know how he was killed? The mob cut his ears, his nose, and he was slowly put to death. So this butchery, Indian mob, when it comes in the streets in this sort of a mood, it usually ends up killing innocent people. And Muslims sadly have faced such massacres throughout the length and breadth of India. And they have
and now
every
the
day.
Sikhs are going to go through this.
And Ghanwa, at a personal note, Ahmed, if I have to share with you, every day I end up waking up with a praise and a prayer for Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
the foresight and the wisdom he had.
For a separate homeland, we are lucky. Pakistanis are lucky that they have a separate homeland, and they're able to live their lives as they want. Because lives of lives of Muslims in India is absolutely miserable.
Raza, I want you to take this moment and join me in ensuring to our nation. The Qaid also said that there is no power on earth that can undo Pakistan. Our nation at this moment, from the words of PTV World, from the words of the Pakistani media, from us here, need to understand. I want you to reassure them that their armed forces, be it the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, will never let them down. They stand united to defend the frontiers and the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Pakistan, and never ever shall this great country fall into the hands of the enemy.
Absolutely, Ahmed. Pakistani armed forces are alert and awake. Pakistan Air Force is alert and awake. Pakistan Navy is alert and awake. And all three services of Pakistani armed forces, its officers, corps, soldiers, and the leadership, as I pointed out, they are all alert and awake. And as we speak, it's about to be 3 a.m. The time, but this is early morning, and Pakistani armed forces are defending Pakistan, are retaliating against India at this moment. And hats off to them, salute to them, salute to the Pakistan Armed Forces, salute to the leadership of Pakistani Armed Forces, and of course, salute to the leadership of Pakistan like the Prime Minister, the President and others.
Absolutely. Once again, we update our viewers that the world must know, the world must stand on the side of right and the side of the truth. We have been told the world now knows Pakistan possesses the electronic signature of the fact that India has resorted to firing 6 ballistic missiles on its own population, on its own people of Indian Punjab, on the Sikh community. Our sympathies are with the Sikh community of Indian Punjab at the moment. 5 missiles have been fired on Amritsar, 1 on Adhampur, have been fired by the Indian forces on its own population. A short while ago, the Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Ataullah Tarar, says targeting its own population with ballistic missiles is India's deep conspiracy against its minorities. He said Pakistan stands with the Sikh community in this difficult time. He also said that this further exposes the nefarious designs that India has against its own minorities as well. He once again categorically said that Pakistan stands with the Sikh community in this difficult time.
You know, India has underestimated the power of real-time truth-based information warfare. Pakistan didn't just respond, it prevailed in the domain that now shapes every battlefield. And this is now the public perception.
Absolutely. And I think, Rafi, what we need to understand right now is that this is failure on multiple fronts. One of the most important element that you've mentioned, they've been already embarrassed at the hands of the Air Force, the Army. Of course, if they do try, which I doubt they will, by the hands of the Navy, the fact still remains that on a diplomatic front, this has been a huge embarrassment to India and its so-called allies.
A huge embarrassment for India and a huge gain for Pakistan, because Pakistan has now garnered the trust of the international community. They are now, we just saw the foreign minister of Saudi Arabia, for that matter, and he was here and he is also supporting Pakistan. We see China supporting Pakistan. We also see a statement from the US president, and he is also, he wants peace between the two countries. He says that both Pakistan and India are a great friend of his. So he wants both Pakistan and India to sit down and, talk this out. Because
yes, Pakistan has made a lot of great diplomatic headway. We have made some great successes in the diplomatic endeavors.
Yes, Anwar, you're right. Pakistan of today has tried to take both the routes, the diplomatic outreach to the world community as well as through kinetic measures against India. So it's a two-pronged approach that Pakistan as a state has followed, where Foreign Ministry is playing a proactive role and armed forces of Pakistan are playing a
we
proactive
believe in
role.
diplomacy. We believe in giving peace a chance.
Yes, but
we also believe
knows how to we also know how to
we know
defend
how to
ourselves.
defend ourselves.
It's been said a gazillion times. Our desire for peace
Should
should
not be
taken as our
weakness.
Never.
It should not be
Never.
misconstrued
Absolutely.
as a weakness.
And Pakistan is hoping for the best with regards to peace, but we are prepared for the worst. We are prepared for any sort of war, any sort of misadventure that comes our way from the Indian side.
We're being realistic because we realize we're dealing with an enemy that is not thinking clearly, that is emotions are clouded with judgment, with hatred, that their own media spews, that their own government spews, that the RSS and the Hindutva ideology spews day in and day out.
Exactly. So it's a win for Pakistan at every front. We have downed 5 of their planes, 3 of their Rafale planes, 1 of their MiG-29, 1 of the Su-30. So this is at every front, the diplomatic front,
But
the military front.
the last time they said Rafale will be the difference. I think it clearly was. We've really made a difference.
3 times, but a negative.
3 times, not once, not twice, but thrice. What's next on their bucket list? What's next on their wish list? What more do they need now?
Well, I think they want to kill their own people, and that's what they're doing. They're throwing missiles at their own people. So this is just absurd. It's just difficult to comprehend what the Indian government and what this Hindutva regime wants to achieve with this.
I think what it shows is that it's not the machinery, but the man inside the machinery, the motivation, the skill level of the pilot,
Exactly.
of the armed forces,
Exactly.
of the people. Like, our people are resilient, they are battle hardened, our army is battle hardened. We know how to handle these situations. These Indian forces, they have not been battle hardened.
You know, this is one of the very first times that Rafale is, being worked in this military combat situation. So the Rafale has yet a lot to prove. But the JF-17 and the J-10C, they have been, used under these combat situations in the previous years as well. So, and they have proved themselves, and rightly said that it's the person in the driving seat, in the flying seat, in the cockpit. So that person actually makes the difference between winning and losing. So it's not the technology, and we can clearly see that. We can observe that everywhere. The Rafales being shot down, 3 of them being shot down, actually proves that it's not the machine, it's the man behind it.
Once again, India has fired ballistic missiles on its own population. This has been reported by the DG ISPR, Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhary. 5 of these missiles were fired towards the population of Amritsar in Indian Punjab, 1 towards the population of Adampur. On its own population, India has resorted to firing on its own population. These 6 ballistic missiles in total. Pakistan possesses the electronic signature of these warheads as well. Of course, this is factual, as being the reports being given by the Pakistani armed forces as well. Once again, we update our viewers. The DGISPR also said that our sympathies are with the Sikh community of Indian Punjab at the moment, and we also of course update our viewers that the Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Ataullah Tarar, a moment ago also said that targeting its own Sikh citizens with ballistic missiles is India's deep conspiracy against its own minorities. He said Pakistan stands with the Sikh community in this difficult time. These cowardly acts are exposing India's true face to the world. What a shameful act, and what a shameful act indeed as well. I think once again we update our viewers of this developing story here on PTV World. Raza, like I said, that the next 24 hours, every 24 hours, every passing hour is very important. But after this incident, I won't even call it friendly fire anymore, is very important. How the next 24 hours, how does Indian Punjab react to this?
I agree with you, and I think if they're wise enough, which they should be, considering the massacres they have faced at the hands of Indians or the Indian leadership or Indian military for that matter. So they have to be, they have to use their mind, and they have to know, they have to be sensible enough to realize that Pakistan has to gain nothing by attacking them, whereas Indian military has a lot to gain from attacking them by trying to show to them that, look, Pakistanis are attacking you. So falsely, attributing the attack on Pakistan. So Pakistan, is, and that's not to say that Pakistani armed forces are not going to face any Sikh soldier or officer or anybody, or a pilot or airman or a sailor, because if they attack us, no matter from which ethnicity they are in India, Pakistan armed forces will defend Pakistan. And but Pakistan, generally speaking, has been very soft towards the Sikhs. There are a lot of holy places, Ghanwa in Pakistan, where Sikhs come in large numbers. And Kartarpur corridor was built by Pakistan to facilitate the prayer. Do you know how they used to, look previously? Through binoculars from their side.
Wow.
So it was a big thing for them that Pakistan built them, and there was a corridor, and they can come and pray, where Baba Guru Nanak stayed.
And
Right, certainly, and I think these events of the past 1 hour have just showed us the uglier the face of this so-called RSS Hindutva ideology gets, the uglier the face of India stands exposed in front of the world. Thank you very much, Rafi. Thank you very much, Raza Khan. Thank you very much to my co-host Ghanwa as well, and thank you very much to our viewers for joining us. Of course, PTV World keeps on updating you with the latest developments from this developing story, where India has fired 6 ballistic missiles on its own population of Indian Punjab, 5 on Amritsar, 1 on Adampur, targeting its own Sikh population. Pakistan possesses the electronic signature of these cowardly attacks of India on its own population as well. We'll leave it at that. Of course, you'll be joining our hourly news, and we'll keep updating you with more news and developing stories as well. Thank you very much for joining us.